Sneaker Gears? My name is Levi, and welcome to another episode of Performance Gears, where today we're checking out the kind of SE version. It's the Russell Westbrook WhyNot Zer0.1 Chaos Edition. Alright, this sneaker right here is one of the best all-around sneakers and is definitely in my top 5 in rotation. Now, this is a slight nuanced upgrade or change from the regular Jordan, the WhyNot, and those changes are very welcome, and it makes this shoe absolutely amazing. And maybe it was just specifically for me, but I think a lot more people can enjoy the WhyNot line, especially if this was released either more widely available or maybe just different colorways. But let's get into the fit. Alright, so the biggest issue with the WhyNot is that shroud. This thing made it incredibly stiff. It did not really break in. And if you had a wide foot or a high instep, it was either 1, difficult to get on, or 2, near impossible to even play in. I actually spoke to a guy who worked at Nike who had narrow feet, and he still just didn't like it because it was such a almost suffocating kind of feel. The Russell Westbrook, the WhyNot shoe, is very much a shoe like Russell Westbrook, meaning it does not play any games. It is hardcore. This is meant to be used on the court. I did do a custom on these, and you guys, I took inspiration from the Jordan 20, where I did add a Velcro strap. So you had one going this way, one going that way. Really liked it. And if you look underneath, essentially, I already had a preview what the Chaos was going to look like. And so this shoe, I liked it, but initially when this came out, the cushion wasn't quite as well sorted as in a newer version, as well as the fit. When I made this adjustment, I did take away some of the containment. So finally, we have a version from Jordan done properly, but I do like some of the cues that Jordan did. If you look at some of the details here, they actually made this look like it was simply cut off, which is really cool. So they made it look kind of homegrown. You can see it's not a straight line, which gives us kind of some nods that, hey, this is a player edition. This is a little more special. And then if you look through the sides here, they did add this shroud of, well, obviously fake leather, but kind of all the way around the shoe, as opposed to the actual shroud going around. So that is aiding in the containment and helping to give it that seam level. But removing that shroud does a few things. 1, it's a little bit lighter. 2, it's a little bit more flexible. And 3, and most importantly, you're actually able to tighten and loosen the laces like a traditional shoe. Now, that makes a huge difference, because the number one thing in finding a great shoe is just finding a really good fit. So when you find a shoe that fits you really well, go after. There's NBA players who are wearing shoes that are 2-3 years old just because they love a fit of a certain shoe. So when tightening the straps on this, it actually feels very reminiscent of its cousin, the Jordan 28 SE, and this is another one of Westbrook's favorite shoes. He wore this a ton. In fact, when most people think of the Jordan 28, a lot of them think of the SE version, and this is very reminiscent. They took off the shroud, they made it a little bit lighter, made it a lot cheaper, and overall it was possibly a better performer. Again, these are nuances. So this same thing, you took off the shroud, and now all of a sudden, for wide footers, it's friendly. This fit my foot amazing. High instep, there's no problem. You have elasticity here, so you can kind of pull up, and you have the ability to adjust all the laces, whereas the regular WhyNot, there really wasn't much adjustment. You put your foot in, and you almost couldn't even loosen them. Even if you did have a wide or narrow foot, it didn't matter if you're able to break them in. This solves all of that, and just like the 28 SE or the 19 SE, it ends up being a better performer, and it's going to fit a lot more people. All right, down to the support. The regular WhyNot is probably top 1 or 2 most supportive shoes you can ever buy. So if you have ankle issues, if you have insecurities as far as when you go on the floor and you just want to feel stable, get the WhyNot. They're available really cheap nowadays for anywhere from 60 to 80 bucks. The WhyNot Chaos Edition takes maybe 5 or 10% less support simply because you're removing that shroud, but they did add that element going all around the shoe, so it's kind of like a fake leather. But this little trim right here, although it seems narrow, you don't really need much. Your foot actually sits inside of the foam, so kind of just in here. So you have not only the containment of being in the shoe in the midsole, you have the containment of that leather strap, you have this high tying radius that pulls you right to the heel. you have this huge heel cup, just like all the other WhyNots, and you have an incredibly flat base that is also very wide. Now, this does not lead to a wide interior. I did have to go to my full size 13, which I do in a lot of my shoes, but if I'm going my true size, it's either a 12.5 or a 12 wide, but the 13 on this fits my foot perfect. I'm right at the tip, really do like it. I love the fit on this. The support is amazing, and I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the materials a little bit. Historically, the Jordan SE lines, for the 28 SE, the 19 SE, have been a kind of a takedown model. So you have this version, which originally was retailing for, what is it, $225, and then these came out, I think, for like $150. Huge difference in price. These initially retail for $125, and then obviously right now you can get them from around $60 to $80. This version, now that you've taken off the shroud, you haven't really added any premium touches, retails for $125. Probably the only negative aspect of the shoe. And if you like some of the details here, it is just a ballistic mesh. It's just nylon. There's kind of an airy, mesh tongue with elasticity here. There's nothing high tech about this. There's no knit, there's no leather. This is a very basic, very simple upper, very simple shoe, but again, reminds me of the Harden 3, where it's executed really well and it works, but you're not getting anything of high quality here. Down to the cushion. Now this is one of the, and correct me if I'm wrong, 2018. This is the only shoe you can buy currently that is a full-length zoom setup that you are getting from the factory. Last time Jordan released anything was in the Jordan 31 with that full-length zoom setup. Biggest difference between these shoes, there's a lot. Traction is a lot better. We'll get to that. Stability is a lot better. This always felt like it was wobbly. And support is worlds apart from one to the next. So you're able to get that full-length zoom, but on a shoe that is vastly upgraded. And having had one of the first releases, this was the LA version that I tweaked, that I kind of customized a little bit. The LA version, it was still kind of firm. It had the impact protection, but it really felt more for a guard. Whereas this, for whatever reason, from last year to this year, obviously this is kind of the final version of the WhyNot before we maybe get the second version, it just felt so much better. So this actually feels really similar to my Kobe Protros, and in fact actually might feel a little bit better. I believe this does have a slightly thicker zoom air unit going all the way through over the Kobe's, but cushion on this, again, reminds me of the Harden 3, meaning I don't care who you are. If you want to be low to the ground, if you want to have impact protection, you're a bigger guy, this is something that caters to everyone. The transition is beautiful, impact protection is great, and you still feel quick. And finally, the traction. Talked about the traction before. This is a very good traction. This isn't out of the park, gonna wow anybody. You're still gonna have to wipe here or there. It is not crazy good, but it's still very good. I don't think anybody's gonna have any complaints on it if you take the WhyNots, go to the court. Maybe you're gonna wipe here and there, but I still really enjoyed it. Overall, hopefully you guys take a look at it. This is something I really like. Stylistically, I think it's on point. I love the Russell Westbrook logo. I love the kind of splatter on here, the 3M hits. This, to me, is a very good looking shoe. And obviously the performance and the fit really just take it up that notch, where I really do like them. So how do they compare with what's in the market? All right, so comparing the Jordan WhyNot to, especially the Chaos Edition, to even Jordan's own lineup, this is, if not the best, this is the second best shoe Jordan makes in its own lineup. The 33 is, in all regards, really a letdown. I'll have a full review of that coming soon, but this, outside of the traction, I don't think there's a single aspect that I would want to play in the 33s over the WhyNots, and even the WhyNot traction, it's still good enough where I would take it over every time. You can argue the 32 might be a better performer than this, but even then it's close. But if you wanted to make an argument, I can't really go against you. The 32, specifically if you have one with good traction, because each model is slightly different, was an amazing shoe. So that's in really close regards. And then you start talking about the team models between the Ultra Fly, the Hustle, the Fly Lockdown. I would almost rather play in all of those over the 33, but the WhyNots definitely take the cake in Jordan's own lineup as the #1 shoe. All right, if we're going to compare it to anything from Nike, this is probably the most well-balanced. So you have your Kyrie line that is going to be definitely more for your guard specific, but obviously getting better with the Kyrie 5 with the improved cushion. You have your PG2 that's going to be a little bit more bouncy, not quite as stable, although I really like that one. That probably is more my style, where I like that bounciness and I don't need so much stability and containment. But the fact that this has that, I'm fine with it. And the fact that that full-length Zoom works so well, again, this is just so well balanced. I would still almost recommend this over those. And you guys, I did forget the Jordan CP3, and there's a reason I forgot it. It's because it's actually really forgettable. It's an okay shoe. It does things really great, but it's not going to be the best in any regard. Whereas when you go with this, you go with the PG2, the Kyrie, you're getting some of the best shoes in those facets for those kinds of players. Now, I'm not going to be comparing this to something like the Kobe 360 or LeBron, just because this costs vastly less, and those are going to be better in multiple regards, but you're also spending almost double the money. And if we're going to compare this to shoes outside the lineup, the only other shoe I would compare it to that I have not played in yet is the KT4, and that is very similar price point. Everything I've read, everything I've seen on it has been really positive, so I do want to get my hands on those. Fortunately, I am not sponsored. These shoes are my own. So if there's any sponsors watching, if you guys want me to have a review on those, send them my way. I'd love to play and give my regard to that. The Wave 7 actually lost the best thing about the Wave 6, and that's the cushion setup. And that's another shoe that's $50 more. Not really comparison. And finally, going to the 3-stripe camp, the Adidas Harden Volume 3 is probably the closest competitor to this. I will have a direct video comparing those two, because those are very, very similar shoes between this and the 3 stripes. Obviously, if you have a loyalty to one camp or the other, whether you're sponsored, go to a school, that makes the decision pretty easy. But if you're wondering which one is best, right now, I would almost say the Harden is better, simply because you can get different colorways, and they've been on sale already for as little as $98, whereas this, specifically in the Chaos version with no shroud, is still very limited and still full price. All right, wrapping it up, overall, I love this shoe. It is absolutely fantastic. As you can see, I am a bigger guy, and I do still play quick, and it doesn't matter what kind of player you are. If you're light, if you're big, this is something that offers a performance aspect that anyone can enjoy. If you guys have any questions, shoot them down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. We will have some comparison videos coming out. And if you guys are wondering for the Sneaker Gears Velocity insole, this is a shoe that works really well with it. Essentially, you're getting full-length Zoom, and you're stacking another full-length cushion right on top of it to give you kind of a double bouncy cushion to it, and brings it up to those LeBron levels. So if you're able to pick up a WhyNot Standard Edition because your foot fits, the Velocity insoles work really well. These are going to be shipping just in time for Christmas, so I'm excited that those are going to be releasing. For all those who are pre-ordered, I really appreciate you guys, and thank you for your patience. They are coming to you soon. Guys, really appreciate everyone watching. If you have any questions, put them down below. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and as always, I really appreciate you guys, and I'll come at you later.